In the realm of spiritual growth, the line between a need and a want is not defined by material possession or external status, but by whether the pursuit in question nourishes the soul's evolution or simply indulges the ego.
A need in spiritual development is a requirement for the soul's alignment with divine truth, an element without which inner transformation stalls. Needs are not always comfortable or pleasurable.
In fact, they often demand discipline, humility, and sacrifice.
They include essentials such as self-awareness, inner peace, forgiveness, and integrity, qualities that anchor a person in higher consciousness and prepare them for greater service to others.
These needs are like the spiritual oxygen of the soul, allowing it to expand, ascend, and connect with the higher realms. Wants, on the other hand, stem largely from the mind's preferences or the ego's cravings. They are desires that may bring temporary satisfaction or even inspiration, but are not essential for spiritual ascension. A want may be harmless or even beneficial if it aligns with one's growth. For example, wanting a serene environment for meditation. However, many wants are distractions. A thirst for validation, a longing for recognition, a hunger for mystical experiences without the readiness to integrate them. When unexamined, these wants can become chains disguised as wings, pulling one into cycles of illusion while giving the impression of progress. One of the greatest challenges on the spiritual path is learning to distinguish between the voice of the soul, which speaks to needs, and the voice of the ego, which amplifies wants. The soul's needs are steady, patient, and unwavering, often asking for virtues such as compassion, patience, and truthfulness. The ego's wants, however, fluctuate with mood, environment, and external influence, shifting the focus toward comfort, status, or control. Without conscious discernment, the seeker may unknowingly trade the eternal rewards of fulfilling needs for the fleeting gratification of satisfying wants. In practice, prioritizing needs over wants requires deep self-examination and honesty. It calls for a spiritual inventory, asking oneself, will this bring me closer to my divine purpose, or merely soothe my temporary desires? Needs will often feel like the more challenging choice in the short term, but they build lasting spiritual strength. Wants, while sometimes gratifying, rarely have the capacity to sustain long-term transformation. The mature seeker learns to embrace the discomfort of fulfilling needs, understanding that true growth often lies beyond the borders of personal preference. Ultimately, spiritual growth is about aligning with divine will and transcending the limitations of the ego. Needs align us with that higher current, pulling us into greater harmony with universal truth. Wants, unless purified and aligned with that truth, can become detours on the path. The art of spiritual discernment lies in recognizing that what is essential for the soul's ascension will often be what the ego resists most, while what the ego craves most is often least important for eternal growth. Mastering this distinction transforms not only one's spiritual journey, but one's entire existence, enabling a life lived in authentic alignment with the higher self. TNT Initiative, our race's universal hope.